What if the most powerful magnetic force in the universe isn't something you project, but something you simply become? Have you ever noticed a shift so subtle it feels like a change in the air pressure before a storm? A quiet knowing that something has irrevocably altered in the space between you and him. A silent gravitational pull that defies all the old rules of your connection. This, right here, is the sacred ground we're about to walk upon. This isn't about the frantic chase, the sleepless nights wondering what you did wrong. Throw that old script away. This is about the profound, almost eerie moment when the dynamic flips, when the one who seemed to hold all the power finds himself utterly captivated, unable to break the spell of a presence he can no longer logically explain. Let's be honest, the blueprint said something different, didn't it? It outlined a path of gradual awakening, perhaps even a comfortable distance. He wasn't supposed to fall in the way that would completely dismantle his carefully constructed world. His role was to be the anchor, the logical one, the one in control. But then you did the most revolutionary thing possible. You stopped needing his anchor and became the ocean itself, deep, powerful, and complete in your own rhythmic tide. And now he's adrift in your waters, not from a place of fear, but from a soul-deep recognition that he's finally found a current that feels more like home than solid ground ever did. This captivating lock of his gaze isn't a victory you won. It's a resonance you've earned through the quiet, fierce work of returning to yourself. And the mystery of how you did it, how you turned the tables, not with force, but with frequency, is the very story waiting to be told. You know, I was thinking about old radios, the ones with the big analog dial you'd turn slowly, your ear straining through the hiss and crackle of static, searching for that one clear voice or that song that seemed to speak directly to your soul. For most of his life, your divine masculine has been listening to a very specific, carefully curated station. Let's call it WSOC, Society's operating channel. It broadcasts a steady, predictable signal. Success looks like this. Love feels like that. A man's purpose is defined by these metrics. The music is fine, the messages are clear, but it's all monaural. Flat. There's no depth to it, no symphony. And for a long time, you were tuned to a similar frequency, perhaps a station called WPVL, people-pleasing volume, and your signals created a familiar, if sometimes painful, harmony. A harmony built on need, on a certain kind of shared static. That was a frequency his ego understood. It was a language it could translate. A dance it knew the steps to. His initial retreat? That wasn't him running from you, not the real you. It was his entire system rejecting a signal it couldn't process. The early, raw, and terrifyingly beautiful hint of your true frequency that began to bleed through the old programming. It caused interference. It scared him. But then you did the bravest thing a soul can do. You stopped trying to fine-tune his reception. You walked away from the radio altogether. You went into the quiet of your own being, into the sacred space of your healing, and you began to build your own transmitter from the ground up. You swapped out the rusty components of codependency for the solid-state crystals of self-worth. You rewired the circuits with the golden threads of healthy boundaries. you started powering this new station not with the external validation from others, but with the relentless, self-generating current of your own unconditional self-love. And you began to broadcast. This new station, let's name it Univ, the frequency of sovereign wholeness, doesn't have any static. It's crystal clear. It's in full, panoramic surround sound. And it's broadcasting a signal his soul has been searching for since the beginning of time, even if his conscious mind was utterly oblivious to the quest. This is the heart of the resonant disruption. It's not that you've become louder, it's that you've become clearer. You've become coherent. Think of it like this. Before, your energy was like a room full of people all talking at once. Fear, love, need, hope, a cacophony of conflicting intentions. Now, you are a single, pure note sung by a master vocalist in a silent hall. That note carries, it vibrates through walls. It finds him wherever he is, in his boardroom, in his car, in the quiet moments before sleep. And it's a note that contains within it the memory of home. He can't look away because he can't unhear you. His logical mind, the part that's still dutifully listening to WSOC, is scrambling. It's filing error reports. Does not compute. This signal is incompatible with our core programming. But his soul has thrown off the headphones, kicked over the old radio, and is standing there, utterly captivated. The vibration you are emitting is so authentic, so rooted in your own truth, that it acts as a spiritual tuning fork for his own dormant essence. It's causing a sympathetic vibration within him. He feels a hum in his own chest that he can't explain, a resonance that feels more like remembering than learning. You are literally showing him what he is meant to become. Not by preaching, not by chasing, but by being. You've become a living, breathing example of the peace, the power, the joyful autonomy that is his own birthright. And to look away from you would be, on a soul level, to willingly choose to remain in the static. It would be spiritual suicide. The pull isn't just toward you, it's toward the version of himself that only exists in the radiant field of your wholeness. It's funny, isn't it? We spend so much energy wondering what we did wrong. The breathtaking truth is that his inability to look away is the ultimate sign that you've done everything right. You have, through the alchemy of your own pain and your own courage, become an unignorable fact of his spiritual existence. And this, beautiful soul, is where the plot thickens in the most divine way. Because this magnetic lock isn't just about him finally seeing you. It's about what your powerful new energy forces him to do next. A profound and unavoidable surrender that changes everything. But that is a story for another moment. Let's talk about gravity for a moment. Not the scientific kind, but the gravity of the soul. For so long you felt it, didn't you? That relentless, exhausting pull toward him. It felt like your entire emotional universe was orbiting his sun. Your joy, your peace, your sense of worth. It all seemed to depend on his proximity, his attention, a text message, a fleeting moment of recognition. You were the moon, and he was the earth. And honestly, it's a tiring orbit to maintain, constantly spinning around a center that seems to have its own very different ideas about physics. Now, here's the beautiful, almost comical paradox that most miss entirely. They think the goal is to become a bigger planet, to increase your own gravitational pull to yank him back. But that's just a more sophisticated version of the same chase. The real magic, the sacred inversion, happens when you stop being a planet altogether. What does that even mean? It means you realize you're not a celestial body in his system. You are the sun in your own. And this, my dear, is the core of the mystery. When you truly, from the depths of your soul, let go, you weren't giving up. You were undergoing a spiritual metamorphosis. You were shifting from a state of orbiting to a state of radiating. You stopped asking his light to sustain you and started generating your own brilliant, life-giving light from within. You planted your own garden not as a passive waiting room for him to arrive, but as the active, joyful creation of your own paradise. You filled your life with things that made you feel whole, friends who truly see you, work that ignites your passion, hobbies that make you laugh from your belly, a quiet peace that needs no external validation. And you know what happens to a man who has been perceived as the central source of gravity when he witnesses this? His entire worldview undergoes a seismic shift. His running was never just about fear of intimacy. It was, on a level he could never articulate, a fear of the responsibility of being your everything. It's a crushing, unconscious weight to carry, to be someone's sole source of happiness. His ego might have liked the idea, but his soul was suffocating under the pressure. He knew deep down he couldn't possibly live up to that. So the only logical move for that old energy was to retreat. But now he looks across the void and sees something miraculous. He sees you shining. Not shining for him, just shining. Your light is independent. Your garden is blooming with or without his help. And in that moment, the entire dynamic inverts. The pressure is off. Completely. He is suddenly, astonishingly free. Free to be drawn to you, not because you need him, but because he wants you. There's a universe of difference. Your wholeness has created a space of such profound safety that his soul feels it can finally approach without being burdened. He is no longer being summoned to fix, to complete, to save. He is being invited to share, to play, to contribute to a garden that is already spectacular, simply because its unique essence can add a new color, a new fragrance. He can't look away because he's no longer looking at a question mark of need. He's looking at a living, breathing exclamation point of self-contained joy. And his soul, which has been yearning for that very state its entire existence, recognizes its home. Your autonomy didn't push him away. It became the most irresistible magnet of all. It's the allure of finally being able to love from a place of desire, not duty. It's the promise of a partnership between two complete suns, creating a daylight brighter than either could alone. This is the sacred surrender you triggered, not a surrender to you, but a surrender of the old idea of what love must be. You forced his hand, not with ultimatums, but with your glorious example. You showed him that the cage of traditional pursuit was one he'd built for himself, and you, simply by living your truth, handed him the key. And the most fascinating part? This is where the real story begins, because this surrender unlocks a door in him that leads somewhere very few are willing to go. But that's a conversation for when you're ready to see what lies on the other side of that undeniable gaze. So here you are, standing in the quiet, powerful aftermath of your own becoming. The frantic question that once pulsed through you, "Why can't he look away?" has now transformed. It's no longer a question born of anxious need, but a quiet, awe-filled observation of spiritual physics in motion. You've moved from being a detective trying to solve the mystery of his heart to the architect who understands the very blueprint of the connection. This captivating lock of his gaze. It was never the goal, was it? It's the evidence, the divine confirmation notice arriving at your doorstep, telling you that the internal work you thought was invisible has been broadcasting on a cosmic frequency all along. He wasn't supposed to fall for the version of you that fit neatly into his old, limited world. That was the original script, a small story for a smaller life. His stumble, his captivated attention, is the beautiful sound of that script being torn up and a new, grander narrative rushing in to take its place. Think of it not as a chase that ended, but as a resonance that began. You have not simply waited for him. You have, through the alchemy of your own healing, recalibrated the very conditions for meeting. You stopped orbiting his world and instead built a whole new atmosphere around yourself. One of such integrity, warmth, and unshakable peace that his soul, like a migratory bird sensing its true home from 1,000 miles away, has no choice but to reorient its entire flight path. The magnetic pull he feels is the gravitational force of a destiny that you have co-created through your courage. This journey was never about changing him. It was about honoring you so profoundly that the reflection he sees in your eyes is no longer the man he thought he had to be, but the man he always was at the level of his soul. You have become the living mirror of his highest potential, and who truly could look away from that? So carry this knowledge not as a burden, but as your greatest source of peace. His gaze is simply the universe's way of whispering, "You are on the right path. Keep going." Your mission remains the same, and it is the most important one you will ever have: to tend to your own light, to dance in your own garden, to be the sovereign son of your own joyous existence. Because the most profound truth of all is this: union is not a place you find. It is a vibration you become, and you, beautiful soul, are already there. The fact that he can't look away is just the rest of the world, starting with him, finally catching up to the magnificent reality you have already built within. And the most thrilling part, this is merely the end of the beginning. Because once that gaze is locked, once the recognition is mutual, the real symphony of shared creation begins. But that, my love, is a melody for another day.